let's talk about protein. It's the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 question people ask me. Where do I get my protein? I can't tell you how many times people said, you're vegetarian, well, where do you get your protein? I mean, it's like hundreds of times that question has come up. And the answer in short is, protein is the last thing I try to get more of. Quite literally. Is the last thing. There's tons of information to show that if you get enough calories to eat, enough energy in the food, you will get enough protein, no matter what you eat, as long as it is a whole food. As long as it's a whole food, that's something that hasn't been processed out. That means you can eat cabbage and potatoes and you'll get all the protein you need. You can eat lettuce alone and you'll get all the protein you need. There's a big myth around protein, and its myth has been forwarded by industry in this country, and through its advertising we have gotten this idea that we have to have protein. Protein is the god of all. There is the best research on this topic comes out now. That's a long-term epidemiological study called the China Study. There's a book on that written by Campbell, Colin Campbell, I think is his name. Colin Campbell. And it followed thousands of people in China over many years, and they monitored with the idea of seeing what the effects of protein are, and other things as well. And what they found is the more protein someone gets, the more disease they have. Straight up. So if you look at the question of your acid-base balance, your acid and alkali balance in your body, a lot of people look at that one as well. People are trying to take alkaline water, for example. The number one thing that causes your body to become more acidic is protein. And if you don't know, high acidic levels are related to a lot of inflammatory conditions. So if you want to reduce your acid load, the best thing to do is reduce your protein intake. Protein from animals is absolutely not needed in human nutrition. Years ago it was thought that plants gave incomplete protein and that eggs had the complete protein, or the balance of amino acids that you needed. Because protein is made up of the building blocks amino acids. And that was forwarded by a lot, in part by Francis Moore Lepay, who wrote a seminal book called Diet for a Small Planet, which we read back in the 70s, which was very influential, because then we had to have beans and rice, or etc., to combine your proteins. But what she later came back and found, and she reversed her opinion in later writings, and what is shown is that the human body can store protein, and that all you need to do is eat a variety of foods over a period of time, and you will get the protein that you need. Also, it was found that plant protein is actually superior to that of animal protein. So the protein that you get from plants is more superior than the protein you get from animals. And even if you don't buy all this thing that you don't need much protein, if you want to eat a high protein diet, the best way is to eat vegetarian. How can I say that? Everybody knows meat has protein. Flesh has protein. Well, in fact, the foods that have the highest amount of protein as a percentage of calories. So the protein, and that's the best way to look at it. I mean, you get a food that's a lot of protein, but most of the calories come from fat, like milk, for example, or beef. The food that you can commonly get that has the highest percentage of protein, calories come from protein. Well, let's put some guesses out. Okay, what percentage of calories comes from protein in beef? So it's going to be, calories can be one or two things: fat, carbohydrate, or protein. So in beef, there's almost no carbohydrate. So about 70 some odd percent of the calories, 75, so low 70s to high 70s percent of the calories in beef comes from fat. And the remainder comes from protein. So about 20 in the low 20s, mid to low 20s. So that sounds pretty good though, a quarter of the calories from protein. Guess what broccoli is? 45% of the calories in broccoli come from protein. 45%. So, if I want to eat a high protein meal, I eat broccoli. And I can feel it. Because broccoli tends to be a little more acid forming than other vegetables because of that high protein content. Other things are way up there as well. By the way, for the animal products, people, yes, boiled skinned chicken breasts is in the 30s. The other vegetables in the 30s as well. I'm not going to belabor that point. The point I'm trying to say is that you don't have to get meat to get a high protein food. Vegetables are some of the vegetables are way up there. And you'd be amazed at where lettuce is. Lettuce is high up there too. I forget what that is, but it's lettuce has a lot of protein in it. Cabbage has a lot of protein in it.